everyone, welcome to the September Q&A, and I got to tell you, this month are probably some of the best questions we've ever had come in. So if you want some answers to your questions, I don't care how tough they are, shoot them to us when we have a call for questions, and I'm going to do my best to get to all these questions. So let's just get right into it. First question comes to me from Nicole. I want my images to be different than others in my hometown. I'm trying to switch my business over from just shooting and burning to prints. However, that has become hard in our area since everyone is a shoot and burner. How do I get clients to choose me when they can literally go around the block and get from my competitors a flash drive and one 8x10? Nicole, I got to be honest with you. If I could throw a stone and hit my competitor right there, and there's another competitor one block away that way from my studio, they are shooting and burning. They're on Groupon. They're doing all these things you're talking about. Our studio is not suffering from that. First and foremost, not our client, but that's fine. Second of all, I want you to understand, I get the same request for those clients calling in wanting a $50 thumb drive. Not going to happen. I can't stay in business. I wouldn't even be able to stay in this building. Third, and probably the most important, you've got to give them a reason to spend more. Why should I want more than just an 8x10 from you? If you don't have a reason I would want more than an 8x10 from you, they're not going to spend. And so you've got to show it to sell it. Now, a way around that is to just have no minimum orders. Charge a session fee and let them know there's no minimum order. They can order whatever they like. We are a full service studio. That's the most important part, again, to understand, is that we want people coming in here and putting product up on their walls. It's just like when you go and you're looking for a new car. You look for that new car, it starts off, it's $129 for that car, right? You see it on TV, and then you get in there, and then all of a sudden there's all these things you have to have in that car. There's, well, I need the heated seats, I need the sunroof. You start seeing your hair blowing through the wind, right? You have these visions because you're seeing it right then and there. And the next thing you know, you're not paying that $129, you're paying much more. Well, the same kind of principles hold true in photography. We've got to understand that we have got to give clients a reason to spend more because they can go to Flickr, they can go to Walmart, and they can buy all the 8x10s they want. But you will never stay in business if you offer that. So it shouldn't be hard to convince you to convert. It's just about putting that framework together to get you there. And so you have to understand, you've got to get them in, you've got to show them other options. We have plenty of clients coming in wanting an 8x10, leaving with 30x40 prints and canvas and acrylics. How are we doing that? We're not drugging them, although I would like to sometimes. We're just giving them better options. So trust me, it'll work. Next question comes to us from Emma. I just moved countries where my second language is not as strong and my knowledge of the culture is not great. It seems daunting to start again, but also exciting. Can you help me figure out how I should work out where to advertise? I could knock up the expat community, but I don't want that to be my sole source of business. Emma, what I want you to do is think about the late 1800s and the early 1900s here in the United States. You had this huge influx of Italian and Irish immigrants into the United States. And what they started to do was just stay together, and they created neighborhoods. So in New York, you have an Italian neighborhood, an Irish neighborhood, Chinatown, right? They all stay together. Nothing wrong with servicing your expat or kind of comfortable local community. But what you want to do is not limit your business that way. And so I would market and go towards that community. But the pictures have nothing to do with that, right? That's more of a language barrier. Instead, find a way to learn and understand the local the other cultures, the other languages, the best you can. I don't think anyone's going to not work with you just because you speak broken, whatever language you are. I'm going to assume it's English. Just because you're speaking broken English. In fact, sometimes I find it entertaining. There's some other people we work with, Elena and Sergey. They're in Canada. They're Ukrainian. And so they speak, right, a broken hodgepodge of languages. Jokes are lost sometimes. Right, that all that stuff gets lost in translation, and I think, quite frankly, it's entertaining. So instead of resisting it, just embrace it. Embrace yourself, embrace your culture, embrace the broken language that you have, and just do your best to acclimate. Don't run from it. That's my advice from you. Find a way to embrace it. So I'm sorry if you were looking for a better answer there. Next question comes to us from Christian. All right, a legal moral question. We've recently had a wedding cancellation 90 days from the wedding. They booked a year ago. The couple is apparently broken up. It's obviously always sad to see this happen. I'm paraphrasing, everybody. When they emailed to cancel, the couple asked for a copy of their contract. Sal, we're using your contract. We informed them that the initial payment was non-refundable. We also had done an engagement session, which they had purchased a basic package but hasn't selected images. Christian, you're not following my full process. They should have selected, and then you wouldn't be having this conversation right now, but that's neither here nor there. They want their $1,000 deposit back. They say they're speaking to a lawyer. I feel bad for them, and I really don't want to keep the money, but I also feel like I haven't done anything wrong, and I've turned down possible future bookings. Hey, man, that's why it's there. That is there in your contract to protect you and your business. You turned away other weddings. I'm sorry that they're going through what they're going through. Here's the thing to understand. You know who's also not giving them their money back? The caterer, the florist. No one else is giving them their money back for the same reason. So don't feel bad. Now, I will speak from personal experience on this. I had a wedding come one time, and they had paid in cash for their wedding. This is a little bit different. They paid a year in advance in cash. The groom comes to me after their engagement session. They bought $2,000 in prints. So they actually paid and ordered them. The groom came in to pick up his pictures, and in picking up his pictures, said that they were no longer together. Well, I wasn't refunding him the engagement pictures. Those had already been ordered. But his wedding was paid in full. And he asked me if there was anything we could do about it. He understood the contract. So he wasn't even trying to haggle with me. And that's where I think your heart has to come into play. Not only did I give him his deposit back on that, I gave him a full refund on the cash he had paid for his wedding. So there's definitely, it's subjective, right? And you can figure out what you want to do on this particular situation, but I would not be giving away back that $1,000 deposit. And they can contact a lawyer all they want. If your contract's my contract, the way it should be, you're more than covered. So keep that in mind. And I just wouldn't give it back at this point. 90 days, I'm so sorry to hear what happened to you guys, but unfortunately I can't give you that money back. Next question comes to us from Stacy. I have an assistant about 8 hours a week. What do you have an assistant intern do to use them most productively? Well, Stacy, what I would do here is if I have somebody in 8 hours a week, they're packaging client prints, they're scheduling client pickups, and they become the office coordinator. Maybe that's a better way of describing this role. They're coordinating everything else going on in the office, and they're that liaison between you and your customer base, making sure phone calls are getting returned, making sure Facebook messages are getting returned. Maybe they're even doing some social media for you. So I think that'd be really good use of their time. Second part of this question, what's one thing you've changed or done in your workflow that made the biggest difference to streamline your business and save time? Outsource. Stop editing your pictures. That is truly the one thing I can point to that back in 2008 or 9 allowed my business to explode. I stopped dealing with the minutia of editing pictures. It is monkey work. Color correction is monkey work. Everybody knows we own a company called Evolve Edits. I would highly recommend them because that company was born out of my need to offload that part of my business. It is just not that creative. You want to edit 1 or 2 pictures just to keep your hands dirty? Go for it. I do it. I love it. It's like gardening for me. But other than that, it's a complete waste of your time. Let someone else handle that for you. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Next question comes to us from Kelly. Did you have any ideas on how to market for indoor sessions through winter months? Last winter hit me hard. Absolutely, Kelly. Couple of things you can do. You can do children's shoots. You can start working with an idea I've spoken about on previous like creative lives and educational platforms I've been on is working with toy stores and maybe doing some commercial toy shoots, putting up your pictures in there. You can do things like headshots. Headshots all winter, rain or shine. Realtors, lawyers, doctors, you name it, they need new headshots. That is really, really easy for you to start doing that stuff and get some money coming in. Holiday pictures, Christmas, Santa, Thanksgiving pictures, anything around the holidays. Those are ones that you have to make sure that's within your business. The thought of Santa Claus coming into my studio is just not going to happen. I want no part of it. Like a bunch of crazy kids running around, I literally want no part of it. So, but if that's your thing, that's your niche, go for it. You can also do things that are themed, like maybe around Easter. I've seen studios have where they have live baby chicks and bunnies and all that stuff come in. Again, not my style of photography, but these are ideas to keep you going through the winter months, which can become quite lean. Next question comes to us from Rachel. What are the ways to sell to your clients' extended family to boost even more sales? So, Rachel, what you can do there, let's talk weddings and seniors for a minute. Weddings is the biggest opportunity, I think, for you to be able to do that. And so for you to sell to weddings, what you can do is offer a 72-hour, 50% off your a la carte price for extended family now that your clients have bought pictures. Now, if your clients haven't bought any pictures, I wouldn't offer any extended specials. But if they have, I would say, hey, part of your package, we're going to give you 50% off anything your clients, anything your family and friends buy for the first 72 hours the images are posted. That idea can be absolutely gold for you. Next question comes to us from Jennifer. For those of us starting out, what type of advertising marketing do you find has the best return? Ads in newspapers, social media, mailers, attending events, handing out business cards. Jennifer, I can tell you that without a doubt, social media is really, really becoming the primary way we're advertising. Let me take that back. Social media, referrals, and vendor relationships. That's where I would recommend spending your time right now. Those three areas. Social media is great bang for the buck, but you have to put a plan behind it. You can't just have social media going and then drive them to your website and hope they book. You have to find ways to do lead generation, run some contests, win a free family session. Those kinds of things will help you make the most out of social media, I promise. Next question comes to us from Tanya. How do I sell wall art when everyone says they want an 8x10 because they're just going to replace it next year? You've got to give them a reason. You can't sell wall art and hope they see and need wall art. You've got to give them a reason to want wall art. Now, what does that mean, Sal, right? Speak English to us. So wall art is created at the time, maybe even during the initial consultation. What are you doing to paint this vision of what they need in their home? So when I'm having that initial phone call with clients, I'm already talking about big wall prints for their home, and they haven't even seen a picture. Then I'm taking it a step further. I'm shooting for that big wall art in their home, meaning big architectural shots, they're smaller in the frame. Then I'm editing to make this look dramatic, something that just won't look like any other picture any other photographer can take. Maybe it's sky swaps, maybe it's HDR, it's whatever your post-production style is. Then I'm showing it to them when they come into our studio. I'm showing them their images on a big TV, and I'm showing them what other clients' big artwork look like on my wall. That's how you do it. So it's a multi-step process. If you're just trying one part of this, it's not going to work. You're going to fail. It's going to get frustrating, and you're not going to understand how everybody's doing it. That's how you do it. It's a multi-step process. You got to shoot to sell. Hopefully that makes sense. Next question comes to us from Jill. I don't have my own studio, so most of my family and kids are shot on location or in their homes. Creative ideas for working in various low-light situations and best places places in the home and how to work around their furniture. That's really tough, Jill. So a couple of things. When it comes to low light, if you're working in low light, you got to get fast glass, right? So that's like 50 millimeter 1.2, 85 millimeter 1.2, 24 millimeter 1.4. You've got to invest in that if that's what you're going to do. The other alternative is learn how to work with strobes. And you can work strobes into a shot and still make it look like natural light. A lot of people don't understand how to do that. So if you're just starting out, make that investment. I mean, you can snoot and grid these lights so that light isn't spilling all over the place, right? So if you just fire a strobe in a building like this, let's say, there's going to be light everywhere and you're going to look like an amateur. Instead, what you need to do is get control of that light, and that's through snoots and grids where you're pinpoint lighting each of your subjects. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer, but the ultimate, the imagery is going to look 10 times better. So you've got to try doing that kind of stuff. And again, get fast glass. You've got to work with the low light. It's not about cranking up ISO. Last thing you want to do is crank up ISO, and then you got all this noise in the image, right? So it just brings in a host of other issues. Now, when it comes to working around furniture, maybe you're going outdoors. So now you're not dealing with that furniture anymore, but maybe it's inclement weather. So what you got to do is work with the furniture that's there, and don't be afraid to rearrange their living room. I do it all the time. And we have clients who want shots in their home. We are rearranging stuff, or we're finding a way to embrace it. So if it's a family portrait in their great room, let's say, we did a shot of a local banker, and his great room was huge, and he wanted a shot taken there. Well, the way the living room was set up, the couch was actually facing the fireplace. Okay, great. Well, that's not the shot, right? So what we did was we took the couch, rearranged the living room, put it in front of the fireplace, had family members sitting on and leaning on the couch, right, in all different poses. One of their favorite shots. So don't be afraid to embrace it. Next question comes to us from April. I want to know what you say to your clients during a session. How do you get them to loosen up and have fun? Funny sayings, etc., especially for the guys and dads. April, I wish I had an answer for you. For me, I think I'm just like a walking entertainment show, and not intentionally. That's really my point. I'm just having a good time. And so you'll find that on photo shoots, I don't panic. I'm very, very sarcastic. And so you can't learn how to be sarcastic, at least I don't think. But my advice to you would be, don't try to be funny. And so, case in point, I love my wife to death. When she tries to be funny, she is not funny, not even a little bit. Her funniest moments are when she's just trying not to be funny and just is normal. And so be careful of that. People can tell when it comes across as just disingenuous. And so you want to make sure you're being yourself, have a good time, and ultimately you should realize you're there and you are the master of ceremony, so to speak. Make it fun for everybody, crack some jokes, figure out what entertains these people. I can give you one bit of advice. You have a short, less than 5-minute window to get to know these people and get them to loosen up. So how do you get them to loosen up? What's of interest to them? Is it football? Is it baseball? Is it sports? Right? And if you don't know about these things, then don't talk about those things, because then it will come across as fake. So just figure out what common ground you have. That's probably the best piece of advice I can give you, and then go from there. And if you have nothing in common with these people, you've got to work on that, right? We've got to find what that common thread is between us and our subjects, and that always makes a photo shoot go easier. Last question from Shoei. Mini sessions, are they worth the trouble? How do you market for them? Do they upset regular clients who pay more for a regular full session fee, etc.? Shoei, no. Mini sessions are brilliant. I wish I had more time to do more mini sessions, because I can crank a lot more people through my studio and make a lot more money. So will they piss off your other clients who've paid full price? They should not, because they're getting a full session, right? And you've got to make sure there is a distinctive difference between a full session and a mini session. That can be on locations, right? So a full session, maybe we're outdoors, we're going on location, but a mini session, maybe we're not. There's things you can do, like we did a photo shoot at Busch Stadium a couple of years ago, and we rented out the stadium, and we did 30-minute mini sessions. Everybody loved it. And they paid more money than people who were doing full sessions with us. And so the full session people weren't upset at all. The mini sessions were paying more money because of the unique location. So that's a way you can actually do mini sessions that work and help your business grow. Make it unique. Don't just do, 30-minute mini sessions, $69. You're in our studio, black backdrop, blah. Who cares? That's not exciting. Make your mini sessions something unique so that you can crank through people. You could do that around the holidays. You can do Easter. You can do, something I've always thought was neat. I've just never had time to implement it or go after it. Was think about how many families are together around Thanksgiving. Kids are away at school. They're coming in from out of town, from college. So you've already got this built-in client base that you can market to. Think about how they're all in one location. Why not do like Friday, this Black Friday? Black Friday, instead of going to the mall and spend money, come make a great family portrait. Something along those lines. And they're just 30-minute mini sessions. And now, in a very short window of time, you can make several $1,000s on Black Friday versus going to the mall and spending several $1,000s. And so what does that require of you? It requires you on the Friday after Thanksgiving, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, to be willing to work. And hey, that's what it's all about. We got to be hustlers. So everybody, great questions this month. I hope those have answered your questions. Keep them coming in. Look for us posting for Q&A. We post for it every month on our Facebook page on Behind the Shutter, and then follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll keep posting. So keep those questions coming in. Keep learning. Keep growing. We'll see you next month.